Picture this, it's not just another Tuesday in New York City. Oh no, this is one of those days where the sky's pretending to be blue, but really it's just a less depressing shade of smog. The kind of morning where the honking outside your window forms its own twisted symphony, car horn in E-flat major, featuring backup truck solo. Somewhere between the coffee cart steam and the smell of roasted chestnuts you'll never actually buy, there's an apartment on the 12th floor of a building that looks fancy from the outside but creaks like an arthritic pirate ship once you're in it. And inside that apartment lives a woman named Maya Torres. Now Maya's about to discover something most adults forget somewhere between their first tax form and their fourth mental breakdown, the simple, ridiculous joy of smiling at your own thoughts. Buckle up, folks, because this is the day the diary smiled back. Maya Torres, age 33, journalist, apartment number 12B. The kind of woman who owned more pens than friends but still typed everything on her laptop. Her life looked like it was running fine from the outside, bills paid barely, work emails answered usually, skincare routine consistent-ish. But inside, she was like an overused New York Metro card, worn out, swiped too many times, and unsure if she was still valid. Her apartment told the whole story. Half-empty mugs lined her desk like caffeine gravestones, sticky notes fluttered from her wall like desperate cries for help, buy milk, remember taxes, stop ordering sushi after midnight. The air smelled faintly of burnt toast and ambition gone stale. She sat at her kitchen counter in pajama pants and a sweater that could probably stand up on its own. The laptop glowed in front of her with an unfinished article, The Modern Urban Smile, Why We've Forgotten to Feel Happy. Oh, the irony. Maya had typed 2 paragraphs before getting stuck on the phrase, authentic joy. Authentic joy. Words that sounded like they belonged to people who did yoga at dawn and made green juice for fun. The cursor blinked at her like it knew she was faking it. And then came the sound, the unmistakable scrape of something falling off a shelf in the next room. Maya turned. On the floor, surrounded by a dust bunny the size of a hamster, was a small, leather-bound notebook. She blinked. She hadn't seen that thing in years. She picked it up. It was her old diary, from college. The one with embarrassing doodles, half-poems about crushes, and confessions written in purple gel pen. Wow, she murmured. Didn't even know I still had this. She flipped it open. On the first page, Dear future me, I hope you're still weird. Don't ever stop writing, even if it's just for yourself. Maya laughed, a small, surprised sound that felt weird coming out of her mouth. Right, she said aloud, and now future me writes SEO listicles about toothpaste brands. But something tugged at her. She grabbed a pen, the one shaped like a cactus she'd stolen from her old office, and sat down on the couch. Outside, the city roared, buses exhaling, people arguing on the street, someone's music blasting through paper-thin walls. Inside, Maya wrote her first diary entry in over a decade. Dear diary, I don't know if people still write these. Feels kind of weird, but honestly, my brain's been like a cluttered email inbox lately. Maybe you can be my spam filter. Love, Maya age 33, not as cool as 21-year-old Maya thought she'd be. She smiled as she wrote it. Actually smiled. Wow, she whispered. That felt nice. And there it was, folks, the spark. Not the big cinematic kind, no fireworks or swelling orchestra, just a quiet little flicker of human joy. The kind that sneaks up on you when you stop doom scrolling long enough to notice your own heartbeat. Maya didn't know it yet, but she had just woken something up. And no, not her upstairs neighbor with the suspicious dumbbell drops. Something inside her, something that had been asleep for years. That night, Maya fell asleep with the diary open beside her. The city's hum faded into the background. Somewhere between the sirens and the radiator clanks, a soft laugh escaped her lips. It had been a long time since she'd gone to bed smiling. But the universe, or maybe New York itself, has a funny way of responding when someone starts to rediscover joy. Because when Maya woke up the next morning, her diary had changed. Morning in Manhattan. The sunlight doesn't so much pour through the blinds as it barges in, like an uninvited roommate with too much confidence. The pigeons outside are having what sounds like a heated political debate, and the smell of bagels and ambition fills the air. But in apartment 12B, something strange is brewing, something that smells suspiciously like self-discovery in coffee. Maya blinked awake, hair a chaotic halo. She reached for her phone, but her hand brushed the diary instead. She froze, because there, on the open page, was new handwriting. Not hers. Hey, Maya, thanks for finally writing again. You've been quieter than a subway at 3 a.m. except cleaner. She gasped. What the? Below it, another line appeared, the ink forming right before her eyes. Don't freak out. I'm your diary. Kind of like your inner voice, but with better penmanship. Maya stared. Okay, either I'm hallucinating from too much caffeine or my notebook just subtweeted me. Relax, the diary wrote. You wanted someone to talk to, right? Well, here I am. Let's make a deal. You write with honesty, I'll respond with honesty. And maybe a joke or two. Deal? Maya blinked twice, then 3 times. Fine, she muttered. I'll play along. She grabbed her pen and wrote, "Deal. But if this turns into a horror movie, I'm blaming you." "Fair," the diary scribbled back. "Now, what's been eating you alive lately? Other than street pretzels?" Maya laughed despite herself. "Wow, my diary roasts me now." She started writing about her job, her loneliness, her apartment that smelled faintly like old curry and printer ink. About how she hadn't laughed for real in months. About how she missed the old version of herself who saw wonder in everything, even the subway rats. And every time she paused, the diary wrote back, sometimes with sarcasm, "Maybe the problem isn't your job. Maybe it's that you keep waiting for life to be cinematic. Try noticing the small stuff." Sometimes with warmth. "You smiled when you wrote that line about the rats. That's something." Hours passed. She didn't notice. Outside, taxis honked, food trucks fired up, life went on. But inside, Maya was having a full-blown therapy session, with a notebook. By the time the afternoon sunlight hit her desk, she felt lighter. Like she'd cleaned a dusty room in her head. She closed the diary, smiling. "You're weirdly good at this." The diary didn't answer, just glowed faintly, like it was smiling back. Now, if you're sitting there thinking this sounds crazy, yeah, it does. But the truth is, all of us talk to something invisible sometimes. Some call it journaling, some call it prayer, some call it screaming into the void. But whatever name you give it, it's the same thing, trying to make sense of the noise inside by putting it into words outside. That night, Maya met her friend Lila for coffee in Soho. Lila was the kind of New Yorker who could afford oat milk lattes and optimism. "So, you're telling me you've been chatting with your diary?" Lila asked, sipping. Maya shrugged. "Yeah, I know it sounds nuts. But it's helping. Like, it's actually funny. And it's making me write again." "Girl, that's amazing," Lila said. "Whatever keeps you smiling, keep doing it. Therapy, journaling, interpretive dance, who cares? Just, don't stop." For the first time in a long while, Maya didn't roll her eyes at encouragement. She nodded. "Yeah, maybe I won't." Back home that evening, the city glowed outside her window, taxi lights, billboards, the distant shimmer of Times Square. Maya opened her diary again. "Welcome back," it wrote. "Rough day." She smiled. "Actually, not bad. I smiled at a stranger on the subway today." "That's bold." "Did they smile back or assume you were unwell?" Maya laughed out loud. "They smiled back, and then gave me their seat. See, smiling's contagious. Told you so. You're a smug diary, you know that. Takes one to know one." Voiceover, and there it was again, the smile. The real one this time. The kind that starts somewhere deep inside your chest and climbs its way to your face like it's been locked up too long. Maya had finally learned the secret her article had been searching for all along. Joy isn't something you find out there, it's something you remember in here. Days turned into weeks. The diary filled with entries, funny ones, sad ones, brutally honest ones. Sometimes she wrote about her coworkers. Sometimes about her dreams. Sometimes just about how good her coffee smelled that morning. But she always ended each entry the same way. "P.S. Thanks for listening. Smiling while I wrote this." And the diary always replied, "That's my girl." A month later, Maya submitted a new article to her editor titled, "The Diary That Smiled Back, Rediscovering Joy in the Age of Overwhelm." It went viral within days. Not because it was clickbait, but because it was real. Honest, funny, human. Emails poured in. Readers wrote things like, "I started journaling again. I smiled for no reason today. Thanks for reminding me it's okay to talk to myself." And Maya, she didn't just feel proud, she felt alive. That night, she sat by her window, the city glittering below. She opened the diary for the last entry of the day. "We did good, huh?" she wrote. "We did great," the diary replied. "But remember, the goal isn't to finish me. It's to keep talking, keep smiling. The story's not done, it never is." Maya chuckled. "You sound like a fortune cookie." "Yeah, but a wise one. Now close me and go live something worth writing about." She closed the diary, looked out at the skyline, took a deep breath that tasted like city air and possibility. Voiceover final. And sir, dear listeners, that's how Maya Torres, writer, overthinker, proud New Yorker, found her smile again. Not in some Instagram quote or self-help podcast, but in a $9 notebook and a conversation with herself. Because sometimes the person you've been searching for is sitting right there at the other end of your pen. So the next time life feels too loud, grab a diary. Write something dumb, write something true, and most importantly, write it with a smile. Because in this noisy, neon, coffee-fueled world, the smallest rebellion you can make is to stay gentle with yourself. And as Maya learned, that's how the ink turns into joy, one page at a time.
Like and subscribe if you want daily dose of happiness and motivation.